What's the biggest financial myth people still believe that's actually hurting them in today's economy? Turning down raises because it means a giant jump in my taxes. Understanding tax brackets in general. Can't tell you how many times I heard mention that their raise overtime bonus will just be eaten up by taxes. Fine, I'll take your raise and pay the taxes. No one ever went broke paying taxes. God, the overtime one hits home. An old coworker said she refuses to do more than 4 hours of overtime because she gets taxed more for her OT. My face must have been something because my pharmacist really tried to stop me, but I couldn't be stopped. I had to know. Why do you think that? You're X amount from the next tax bracket. Your taxes aren't going up. No, the next tax bracket doesn't tax you retroactively. It taxes whatever's in that bracket. Look, I know you did a math, but why don't you walk me through the math you did? Yes, I do think you did the math wrong. Okay, so you multiplied everything by 1.5 instead of just your OT hours. You're making the right amount of money. Now you just don't want to admit you were wrong. Not investing back into yourself. Investing doesn't always have to be some major cash return. It could be education, making your life easier so you have more time and energy, or simply relaxing. I know a lot of people that played the frugal game and just now getting out in their 70s. I tell people that one of the best investments you can make early on in life is a top-tier mattress and office chair. The amount of money you'll save yourself on future medical bills is one of the best returns on investment you'll make in your life. Dollar stores are generally a worse food value based on size quantity. Sure, it's $1, but the $2.25 box at the grocery store has 500% more food by weight, therefore is a much better value. You're paying a little less to get a lot less. Credit cards are bad. If you use them right, you can actually come out ahead. Get a card with good cash back rewards and use it for everything. I mean everything. If you can pay your rent, bills, and insurance with it, do it. If you can use it for work and they reimburse you, do it. Pay the balance off at the end of every month and make sure you keep track of your ins and outs. It requires you to be responsible, but in the end it's worth it. I get at least a few $1,000s a year worth of cash back to do with as I please. Trips, PS5, etc. Sometimes I use the rewards to pay my balance, and take the funds I had allocated to pay off the balance, and put them in my RRSP and take the tax advantage. I learned credit card companies have a word for users who pay off their balances in full every month. Freeloaders. Be a freeloader. Pretty bold to call someone a freeloader when they're benefiting from the transaction fees that person generates for them. Just save money. No, you need to do more. Most savings are not beating inflation. As a result, your money is shrinking by doing that. One of the most insidious ways our money is effectively being stolen is just by having inflation make it worthless by the time you'll go to use it. The easiest thing I am aware of is to put it in an index fund that automatically reinvests. These are automatic funds that follow a set algorithm of stocks, an index, and do not have a human element in the decision making. They regularly outperform professionals. They typically do very well compared to inflation, and require zero maintenance. Check if your work has a retirement matching program and use that. It's literally free money and it adds up faster than you think. There is no such thing as too soon to start thinking about your retirement. To add to that, you can't achieve upward mobility via frugality. 100% you should save, live within your means, and do whatever you can to invest. But at some point you have to simply earn more money. Which I think also ties into that whole avocado toast thing. Sure, buying too much Starbucks might be why you're short on the phone bill, but it's not why people don't own homes. That your employer will be there for you when times are bad. Build a savings. Keep a savings. You are a liability to them, not an asset, and will ditch you the moment they can profit from it. Always remember this. You are a cog in the machine, and if they can find a cheaper cog, they will. Oh, and HR is not your friend. Everybody say it with me. HR only exists to protect the company. That tax breaks for the wealthy will allow some of their wealth to trickle down to us poors. Something is trickling down on us, but it's not money. Yeah, I hate how tax breaks for the wealthy isn't a government handout, but helping a person make ends meet through SNAP benefits makes them a welfare king-queen. But this is generations upon generations of propaganda that won't easily be dismissed, and it has led us to a second Gilded Age. that you have even the smallest chance of becoming a billionaire. People don't understand the orders of magnitude difference between even a low-level multimillionaire and a billionaire. At $100 million, you're still 10 times closer to homelessness than you are to becoming a billionaire. Stop trying to get there. Stop voting for people and policy that promise you that opportunity. The only way these people achieve that wealth is through siphoning it away from everyone else. My wildly successful uncle came from true poverty, and he's worth about $50 million. If you look at what it takes to get even there, it looks barely possible at best. He worked his ass off from his early teens. He's incredibly smart. He's incredibly good with money, and he was lucky. And he's still only 5% of the way to $1 billion after a lifetime of work. Mark Cuban has said that given the exact same start he had, he could easily do the first $1 million all over. He could probably make $10 million if he busted his ass. But even getting above $100 million would be almost pure luck. The stock market is just like gambling. You are never going to accumulate enough money to retire without using the stock market. The market has always gone up in the long term. If it stops going up in the long term, society would be in pretty bad shape, and your money probably wouldn't be worth anything anyway. Time in the market beats timing the market. The stock market can be gambling if you're into day trading and trying to achieve short-term gains. But if you're investing long-term, then yes, it's a great tool to grow our wealth. If I buy X, I'll be happy. That hard work will lead to wealth. This simply is not correct for the vast majority of workers. Read, anyone not C-level. The truth is that the US is a shareholder economy, not a labor economy. Meaning that even if someone is getting regular raises, they're likely barely keeping ahead of inflation. If someone isn't investing in the market right now, then they aren't actually seeing their cut of the economy's increases in employee productivity. If they aren't investing in the market, then they're probably going to end up working paycheck to paycheck until they die, assuming Social Security doesn't provide them enough to live off of or stops existing sometime between now and when they retire. As George Monbiot said, I'm paraphrasing, if hard work were a guaranteed indicator of wealth, every woman in Africa would be a millionaire. Money is not a long-term store of value. It is a medium of exchange. Don't keep money, spend it on appreciating assets and keep those instead. Cryptocurrency is gambling on a Ponzi scheme unless it's very well established. Buying a house is always the right move. Car stuff. You need a new car when your current car gets to 100,000 miles. You need to fix everything that breaks on your car. Buying used cars is bad because all you're doing is buying someone else's problems. Foreign cars are inferior to domestic cars. That immigrants are taking our gerbs. Like seriously. If every immigrant, legal or otherwise, disappeared tomorrow, it wouldn't do a single positive thing for me personally, much less the wider economy. Prices never go down. It doesn't matter if the entire price structure gets resolved downstream to lower a lot. They don't have to lower the price because they think no one else does, so the price will never go down ever. That you deserve something you can't afford because you work hard. Deserves has nothing to do with it. They think that pure talents, including being smart, is the biggest factor to get money flowing in like a river. It is not. I've found that pure dumb luck is a massive factor in getting rich. Aside from the obvious, be lucky and get born to rich parents. So many people are just somewhere at the right time, or are there to take advantage of opportunity. The expectation of living on your own, so most of their money goes to rent or mortgage instead of investing. That CEOs and owners should get X amount higher salary because they assume all of the risk. No, they don't. If the company folds, they claim bankruptcy. Difficult, expensive, long process for normal people. Easy for the wealthy who have lawyers on retainer who specialize in it, and go try again. They really don't have any risk once they hit a certain level. It's not that they are putting their personal risk on the line, it's the risk of the owner's shareholders and the business. So they feel it prudent to compensate highly someone who is managing that risk of the business and shareholders. People voting thinking the president single-handedly controls the economy. That renting is cheaper than owning because property taxes and insurance. It's your equity that matters. The answer here is not clear-cut, it depends. There are rent versus own calculators because of this. Your comment omits one very important detail, interest rates. With a 2-3% interest rate, If your monthly payment is close to your rent, then sure, try to save for a down payment and buy. However, with 7% interest rates, the numbers look very different, and for a lot of people, renting plus investing will be better than buying. I think that a lot of people miss the second half of the equation. Like, yes, if you rent, it might work out to being cheaper than mortgage, property taxes, insurance and maintenance, etc. But only if you are actually investing the difference, and especially as early as possible will you end up ahead. If you spend the difference on restaurant meals, expensive cars and vacations, you will end up behind. What's the biggest financial myth people still believe? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.